everybody and welcome to the channel. I am Richard. Today I'm gonna bring you back down in the dungeons again for a new adventure and hopefully glory, money and the honor it is to be a true hero. I'm gonna show you Path of the Adventures. Today I'm gonna show you an overview of this game. I'm gonna show you some of the gameplay and I'm gonna go through some of the rules with you. This is a cool game for 1 to 4 players, where you and some friends go out in some dungeons and try to hit down some monsters. There's some beautiful, beautiful miniatures in this one. There's a lot of action in it. I'm going to show you an overview and the setup, so let's just get started. This is the setup of the game. Each player picks up a character that they would like to portray, picks the miniature that corresponds with their character and puts them on the market tile in the middle of the playing area. Each character gets 1 basic item, 2 sets of skill cards, and gets the token to put on their character's attributes. Then we create the market from 5 item cards faced up, the rest is face down. We have the tiles over here that we will use to build out the map. Then we have the enemy cards here. And we have the enemies cards that we will put out on the location to figure out who we will meet. We have the dices and the rest of the tokens. We have the initiative meter over here, some event cards and the special item cards. Path of the Adventures plays out during 4 different phases. The first one is the event phase. This is where the player should draw an event card that tells them a little bit on what is going to happen and apply during this round. If it's the first round of the game, you should not do this phase, but let's just say it's not. The event card is the ones that had a blue background on them, and on these cards there are a little bit of a text on them. The player drawing the card should read it out loud. High spirits. All characters add 1 initiative points to their roll. He who hits first hits twice. This card should be placed face up in the table for all players to see and try to remember. Once we're done with the event phase, we move into the travel phase. Now the adventures are still on the starting tile here, the town tile. So we need to take 4 of the travel cards and place them out along the sides of the tile we're standing on. Once we have done this, we should take these small enemy cards. These are the cards that once they are revealed will tell us what enemies we are going to face. These should be placed face down on each tile and first be turned up once we actually reveal that tile. In the travel phase, you have 2 different choices. You can choose to explore, which means that you can go in, take a look at the enemy and decide if you want to fight them or run like hell. Or you can choose to assault, which means that you just run in with your weapons out and ready to fight right away. But then you can't retreat. But you will get a 2+ extra on your initiative roll and get 2 more figure tokens than you would normally get on a regular exploring round. Now we need to figure out what location we want to enter. These ones that has the cards down, they're unexplored, so we can only move 1 step. Once we have figured out where we want to move, we need to move into that location and flip the card to reveal what enemy we have gotten. If we take a closer look at the actual location cards, you will see that they are split up into 2 different locations by a white line. One side should be the adventure side and the other side should be the enemy side, just to make things a little bit more easier. So on the cards you draw, when you draw an enemy card, you should place the enemies down on the enemy side and your miniatures up on the hero side. Now we need to place out the enemies according to this card. And if we take a look at it, we can see that we have 2 on the top and we have 1 at the bottom. And the enemy should be placed at the same formation on the tile, meaning that this angry wolf here will come out here. And the second one will come to his left. We always fill from left to right. And the last one, the angry warrior here, the cool one, is coming down here below the wolves. Now that we have placed out these miniatures, we can choose to either retreat or attack. I think that I want to fight these cool little minis. Before we go into battle, let's take a look at the player board. As you can see, there's a bunch of different symbols here, all meaning different things. Up here we have the life points of this character. Down here we have dexterity, intelligence and strength. Up here we have the speed of the character, and the number over here decides who gets to roll for initiative first. So now we need to figure out who will go first in the battle. We need to figure out the initiative. And like I said, the number up here on the player board indicates that Melandir is the player with the highest initiative. So she gets to roll first. And she has 3 dexterity, meaning that she gets to roll 3 of the blue dices. Now she needs to get the reflex side and the dodge side. These will count as initiatives, but also the criticals, as these one can be turned into anything. So Melandir here got 1 critical, which can be turned into a hit. These 2 here are misses and can't be used, so Melandir would get 1. The enemies, on the other hand, do not need to be rolled for, as they already have a starting initiative on their card. So now we have filled up the initiative, meaning that we now know who will go first. Starting with Melandir, and we go from left to right. So it will be Melandir, and then it will be Torstensen, down to the enemy, and so on until we have finished the battle. Your character can move on your side of the battlefield. Remember, one side for the heroes and one side for the enemies. But to move, the space needs to be empty, so you can't stand on the same spot as an ally. And you can attack any enemy that is nearby, meaning even diagonal. Meaning that this hero here can only attack this enemy here and not this one. To be able to reach over here, he would need to have a ranged weapon. But to be able to move or fight or really do anything at all on the battlefield, you need to use the tokens I showed you here from the start. Remember? These player tokens, they can be acquired in different ways during the game, and you can eventually get more of each. But from the start you only have the ones that are on the player board. So for attack, for example, you would have to use tokens for that. Also movements or spells and so on. Besides the normal attacks and movements, you also have the special abilities. And they have a special skill that you can use during battle. But again, you would need to have the tokens to be able to do this action. Every time you successfully hit an enemy, you get to deal out a damage token to them. These should be placed on the enemy's tokens here on the initiative board. And to see how much life they have left, you need to check the enemy's cards. Up here you see their health point, you see their stats and how much damage they can take. When it's the enemy's turn to attack, it pretty much works the same way. They also have a value on how many dice they can roll if they want to fight or if they want to move. They will always attack the ones that is nearest by. And if there's 2 of them nearest by, for example this one, he has 2 enemies in front of him, they will always attack the one to the right. If they can't attack anyone, they will try to flank you instead. From this example here, this enemy can't reach any of the heroes, so it will flank us, meaning that it will move up to the side of the heroes. And now this enemy will use double sets of dices, and will do so until it is knocked down. When an enemy flanks you, it cannot be pushed. Some of the enemies are extra annoying and have attributes that will make them just a little bit harder to defeat. This one, for example. You can see the attributes out here in the side. And this fella here, he has 3 of them. He has evil, he has armor, and he has bulky. Bulky meaning that you can't push him around. Armor meaning that he will ignore the first score of damage. And evil meaning that he will always attack the one with least life points. Then we have this big fella here, the troll. He has fire weakness, so he does not like fire, but on the other hand, he can heal his wounds. And then we have charge, meaning that this mean fella right here, he will charge to the front lines and attack right away. If you feel like the battle is getting out of hand and you are about to lose, you are allowed to flee, but you will still follow the initiative order, meaning that this guy back here might make it out, but then all of a sudden it's the enemy's turn and this little fella here will not make it. Meaning that he can enter the game later but only with 1 health point and he will lose all his items. But if you decide not to flee and stick it out to the end of the round and actually make it to the end of the round, you get to refill your attributes. And once you have refilled everything, the battle will continue until either you or the enemy is gone. If you make it out of the battle alive and have defeated all the enemies, you will get a reward. The reward is stated on the enemy cards at the bottom. But not only do you get this reward, no, you get a location reward as well. On the locations you get 2 legendary symbols, and these are the same symbols that are on the legendary items cards, looking like this. You should pick 2 of these legendary item cards at random and keep 1 that the group will decide who will get. When you have successfully taken out all the enemies, you move back into the market, and now it is the market phase. This is your turn to be able to heal yourself at the healer or buy some new items or sell. You can do this from the market items that we took out in the start of the game. The goal of the game is to find these 2, the 2 Dark Lords. Find them and smash them to the ground and you will win the game immediately. So there you have it, people. That was the Path of the Adventures for you. This is a funny, fast, pretty easy game to learn. It takes really no time to set it up, and the rules takes maybe 20 minutes and then you are playing. So if you have some new friends you want to bring him to the table and bring this up one evening, well, do it, knock it out. It's a cool game. There's not a thick story in this one. It's basically go in, kill the monsters, take whatever you can and leave. But it's okay. Not every game needs to be this thick story where you have to go through different levels. It can just be slay the monster and run. And the miniatures in this game is really, really beautiful and quite well made. I know that they have a Kickstarter coming with even more beautiful miniatures, so go in and check that out. I will put the link down in the description to you, so go in and have a look if you want to. If you like this channel, please support me by putting a little press on the subscribe button there, because it really means a lot to me and it gives me a smile on my lip. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and maybe tell me in the comment what you thought about the whole thing. And until next week, please take care of each other and spread that board gaming love that I know we all have. Peace!